going on, guys? King Strats here, back with another video on the channel. And today we went to Popeyes. I had no idea this existed as well. Thank you to the people who tagged me in these videos, because without you, I would have been late on this. But Popeyes, as a few other fast food places have done, have collabed with Truff, which is a company that I am very familiar with. They put their Truff mayo on their chicken sandwiches and other menu items. And I'm sure this is going to be good, but I don't even know if this is a public service announcement. Believe it or not, if you have been around long enough, I had been eating Truff mayo for like the past 2 or 3 years. I even have some footage that you can see in this video.
I'm gonna try this one too. This is a spicy one. I'm more of a fan of spicy mayo than anything. So again, see that on the top. It's got a nice color to it.
It's safe to say that I liked it. But that is what's on the agenda today. I'm proud to say that they actually got 96% of my order right. Everything is accounted for, even the extra sauces, including the extra sauce of Truff mayo, which costs like $1 extra, I believe. But they did forget my fries. Miss Popeyes, man, we still love it. Drop a thumbs up. We're going to try all this stuff with the Truff items. I love Truff, so this isn't really going to be crazy for me. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, first thing we're going to get is the Truff Crispy Chicken Sandwich. This is their regular, but their spicy mayo has now been replaced. They didn't really put a lot on here, but it's on here. With the Truff mayo, I'm not going to lie to you, that's not enough for me. We got to turn up just a little bit. So I'm going to add spork time. I got to put a little more on here. We got to get in a little more. Got a little more. The other thing that I can tell you is I hope that this is the real mayo that they used, because if anyone knows, it's me. I used to eat it and still do a pretty moderate amount of times. I'm actually out of it. Truff, anybody watching from here, bro? Can y'all lob me some? Y'all got my addy. I know y'all do. I didn't move. Same hood. Let's go. I know. This is one of the most obvious things that I'm going to say. Again, I have a background and I enjoy this mayo. I will say this. This flavor is not as intense as the one that comes in the real jar. I don't know if they're mixing this on site. I would guess that they are. But the one that I tried has much more of an intense truffle flavor, where this is milder. So I don't know if they're using some sort of sauce blend. If you can afford it, Truff mayo is expensive. I would get the Truff mayo instead. But it does give you a little bit of it. It's just not the same. I don't have any mayo left, but I do have the sauces. Now, I used one of these already, but I still have one of the OGs as well as the white truffle. That's not what's going to be on here, but they do have a white truffle version. I'm not selling this, bro. I eat it. I'm not a joke. But I just need to see something real quick. This might just be a Truff-induced meal, because this is putting me back. Let me get a little. This is way better. This is more intense. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's still good, though. Don't get it wrong. If you like Popeye's chicken sandwiches, again, the truffle flavor isn't as intense, so if you don't like truffle, I still would stay away. But if you're a fan of truffle, I would rock with it. I'm not going to do it. I feel like it's a flex. I was going to pour this in here. But I can tell you this. The mayo, for me, is for real. This just seems like it's turned down a couple notches, like they diluted it. They're going to get mad at me for that, but I got to keep it a buck. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But still, Popeye's chicken sandwich, it makes no sense to rate this again, because if you like it, you like it. Nothing changed about the sandwich. They just added the mayo to it. Nice marketing. Would I eat it again? Hell yeah. They left it on the menu. Would I eat it again? Hell yeah. Will they leave it on the menu? No, I'm not dumb. Come on now. So, whatever you rate a Popeye sandwich, keep that same rating. It's fire, but I already knew it was going to be. They also have it in the Blackened variety, which is the same. I like their Blackened chicken sandwich. Some people, I think this is actually very good. This one has enough mayo on it, too. Oh, they fucked my sandwich up, bro. Sorry. This one's a little too blackened. It's not as juicy. But I do love that blackening spice. Make sure you get this if you're going to get it, because I feel like there's not enough on this sandwich. one of the biggest things that I used to say about this is that a little goes a long way. And this just doesn't have that same thing with me. But as I know they've done this with Taco Bell before, there's something that they're doing to dilute it where it's a small amount of what's compared to it. It gives you the idea, but it's going to make you want to get the real thing. I like the blackened chicken sandwich, though. Same thing. Whatever you grade it, you grade it. Blackened chicken on a fast food scale for me is like a 9.5, where the Popeyes crispy or the spicy is a 9.7. Some of my favorite chicken sandwiches in the game. It's not going to hurt by adding that mayo for me. I also got some nugs here. I'm sorry to do this to y'all, man, but look, I paid for this, bro. I'm using it, all right? It's just put me in the mind of it. The original truff sauce is very thick. Like, it almost has the consistency of like almost a ketchup. But it goes, this will flavor the whole thing a lot. This is actually almost too much. I'm sorry, man. Listen. Yeah. 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 I personally feel like, let me get one more like this. You get more out of this by getting it with the nuggets or the chicken tenders. For sure. I also ordered the sweet and spicy wings, and I got the sauce on the side this time. Last time I forgot it. So I wanted to see what this is. Whoever said that sweet heat, I get the flavor way more in that one than anything. It might have a base of sweet heat, but they're adding other things to it. There's something in there that's like teriyaki, General Tso's. Like, it's something like that it almost tastes like Chinese food. Try it on a wing now. The biggest reason I got those two wings again, by the way, there's a lot of speculation that this half-bitten wing, that this is this in that. So I just wanted to see if I tried this, would it make a difference? Let me see. It probably is. It is. I'm not mad at that. They're still good. They take the ghost pepper wings, they probably shake it in the sweet and spicy, but ain't nobody mad at that. Honestly, if you've never had the Truff products, again, I do think this is a good introduction, because as much as I love their products, which, again, this isn't advertising, it's just, you see the old videos of it, and there's a bunch of them back then. It's very expensive. Like, it's a lot of money for sauce. With that being said, it gives you an introduction to say, okay, would I like this or not? So you don't have to spend a crap ton of money on it. So I do think it's a good idea that they did that. Another thing that they've done is they have it where you can get this with the mac and cheese. Now, I don't know if they're supposed to go with it, but I'm going to try it and see. Mayo and mac and cheese is very weird. That's too much. That's too much. Just give me the mac and cheese. I'm cool with it. But you can get that sauce on the side, or they serve it with their fries, they serve it with their wings, they serve it with everything, more or less. Or you can just get it, which I did. So, to me, this is more of like a self-explanatory kind of review, where I'm more just announcing it for you. If you like Popeye's chicken sandwich, you'll still like it. It's a little Cajun, isn't it? And my biscuit it's a little Cajun. Nah, it's still fire. I don't care. I don't care, man. Listen. You know, I really rock with a place. If I go there and I know they finna mess my order up, I almost blame myself, because I check the bag, I'm looking, I say the chicken sandwiches, they ain't put no pickles on it, boom, boom. I be looking, and then I still didn't see it. I didn't see the fries. When I saw these sauces, I said there ain't no way they messed my order up. But that's a part of their charm. I'm not mad at it. I'm really not. Their food's too good for me. This biscuit go crazy. But what? Yeah, I want to say I want to try this too. Some wild honey mustard. What's your favorite Popeyes condiment? Everybody got one. I think Sweet Heat is still my 1. Blackened Ranch is my 2. And this is my 3. It do hit though. I'm gonna get a little bit more of this because I do got this truff sauce out. And it needs to be used. It needs to be used. Come on. Again, if you do get this, I used to say this all the time. A little goes a long way with this. It is the truffle flavor is very strong, and it's very acquired. Some people don't like truffle at all. I personally do. So that's on you. Anyway, I said it yesterday about the Giants. I'm not one of those fans again that gets mad when my team loses. But I am one of those football people who get annoyed at bad football. And that was the best they looked all year yesterday. Still ain't good enough, but at least they look competent. But too many mistakes. I know people want to blame the referees. You can't get down in the red zone and keep coming away with field goals. It's just not going to work in football. One of the hidden stats that people talk about is red zone percentage. And for people who, I'm not trying to insult anybody. Maybe if you don't watch football or you're not really that familiar with terms, the red zone is from the 20-yard line on the way into your, I'm really trying to, like, your touchdown to the end zone. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the Bills got down there and scored every time. That's the difference. As far as, touchdowns versus field goals, it matters. But I was watching that game, and when they didn't score before the half ended, I said, there's a very high probability that comes back to bite them because they're not good enough to, But if I'm being real, as a fan of the Giants, that yesterday was the team that I was expecting to see all year round, where they're competitive. Like, I expected them to have the same formula as last year because they're not a great team by any means roster-wise, but they have some decent players that some of them played much better yesterday. I expected them to be a team that would be in close games in the fourth quarter and, after that, let the chips fall where they may. Last year, they won a lot more of those than they lost, which is why they entered the playoffs. This year, they lost a game that last year they probably would have won. But that's the way the sport works. And I'm not, like, an upset fan. I know I wake up the next day being from here, and you be like, you can hear the chatter when you're, like, around in public. You just hear people talking trash, and I'm just like, I feel you, man. But at the end of the day, you can't get blown out 4 games and then start getting mad when you lose a close one. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? The 49ers lost a close game yesterday, but that was their first loss because they're good. You get what I'm saying? So I'm the kind of person where you have to look from within. I know people want to blame the referees. Was that pass interference? Yeah, but they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Like, that's the way I look at it. You can, as a former player, I know a lot of y'all ask me for stories and stuff like that. I don't really like to get into that because I don't feel like I'm not Jerry Rice, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the one thing, as a former player, I will say this. You can only control, there's a term in football called controllables. They're things that are within your grasp. You cannot rely on referees to win you a game. You might get lucky every once in a while, but they might miss calls too. Controllables are things like execution. Did you run the right play that was called? Penalties. Giants had a lot of penalties yesterday. Those things are things that you can control. Like, there's a, when I say control, like penalties, because some people are like, oh, referees control. I'm talking about the ones like, not the judgment calls, like false starts, offsides, unsportsmanlike conducts. Now, there were some BS penalties in the game, but you can't have false starts, and those are drive killers, and you can't do those. So, that's the one I'm talking about. The refs aren't going to win you a game. And the biggest controllable they had yesterday, you're on the 1 yard line, And they kind of called, a run play. More or less, for people who need to know, there are things in football which it's not an RPO, which is a run pass option, but there are run pass plays that are called. I don't want to get into like the terminology, but more or less, you call a play and built into the pass play, there is an audible. You can change the play into a run. It's built in. So if the quarterback, and you saw it happen, I said, why is he alerting? I saw it immediately. Tyrod Taylor started going like this. He's saying alert, alert, which means that everybody, you saw the whole team mirroring it, because it's almost like using sign language. It's like telephone. Everyone does it so that just in case you didn't see the quarterback, you saw the guy next to you. So I heard him alerting, and 9 times out of 10, when it's an alert, it's alert to a run. And I said, I know he's not alerting to a run. I know he's not alerting to a run. And he did. Barkley gets tackled. They're off with it. And you saw the coach flipping out at the offensive coordinator. You saw the coach flipping out at the quarterback. Because to me, it's not just the quarterback. It's everybody that was involved, including the head coach. It's all their fault. The quarterback has to be smart enough to know that even though it is a check, understanding down and distance, you got to understand, like, you can't be a robot. The offensive coordinator had to know, because you have a radio. Even though there's no timeouts and you're giving the play, listen, hey, you only get a certain amount of time to talk, but either you call a play that doesn't have a check built in that, or you tell him, do not check off to a run. Now, I guess he assumed that he wouldn't, which assumption is where you screw up. And the head coach, again, because you're the head coach, it stops with you. You've got to be on top of that one way or another. And I know it's not really directly his fault, but as the head coach, everything is your fault, because you are the guy that is responsible for clock management. It wasn't but 3 or 4 plays before that. And again, when I watch games, I talk, whether there's people with me or not, I'm talking out loud. There was about 40 seconds left, and he let it run down to 30 seconds, because I think he was trying to make sure the Bills didn't get the ball back. And I'm going, y'all ain't good enough to do that. So call the timeout now. And he waited till he got to 30 seconds. Those are precious seconds. And that clock management is a coach. That's the head coach. When you say, why'd you call a timeout? Why? That's a head coach thing. Can't do it. So anyway, Monday Night Football today. I didn't get to stream yesterday because the game didn't end till like midnight. And then by the time I was able to like get all my editing and all the stuff done, because Sundays are different for me, I wanted to stream last night, but I'll be able to stream tonight and then Tuesday and so on and so forth. But I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for watching. Popeyes is always a W, and is the stuff worth it? Like I said, if you're a fan of truff or their sandwiches, this is like, it's not a new thing. It's just a wrinkle, you know. So we'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. I love y'all. The hand signs, they made it to YouTube.